Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Fentola as usual, and we are talking about the Champions League today. Now it is match day 2 in the Champions League, and it starts off today and tomorrow. You know, did speak about it in my last video that the Champions League, is officially back. I think it started off last month or early this month, but you know with the new format to the competition, it now makes it more interesting. You see, big teams go off against big teams literally at the very start, unlike before where it's just group stages, and some of the big teams start to face off smaller teams, and then subsequently they then progress to the semi-final, round of 16, quarterfinals, and the final. But this time around, the competition is starting off big and huge, and with the new format, it makes it even more interesting to want to see what happens in the Champions League. Now, some of the fixtures that are happening today that I think is going to be quite interesting is Arsenal against PSG. Now, Mikel Arteta has said, oh yes, he is ready for, not just the Premier League, but the Champions League. They've qualified for the Champions League consecutively for 2-3 years now. And yes, they've not picked up the Premier League title. They are still struggling, to get to even the semi-final of the Champions League. But what they are doing is they are getting around the experience, and that is what you expect from a team that is, trying to win the tournament. I know it's the same thing for PSG. PSG have been quite disappointing in the Champions League. Most of the time, I think they've just gotten to probably the quarterfinal, and unfortunately not able to get to the final or even the semi-final or the final, at each of the points that they've played in the Champions League. And you look at the money they've spent and you say, oh, it's been a disappointing run of form for PSG in the Champions League. But hopefully it can be a different case, for them this time. In their league, they've won, I think, 5 out of 6 games and drawn 1. They've not lost any of their games. Yes, they've been doing so well in their own league, but you would expect them to do better in the Champions League, and that is what I would expect from them this time around. But they're meeting a Mikel Arteta side that is resolute and very good in defense. Yes, they conceded 2 in their last game against Leicester over the weekend, but that didn't shake them from picking all 3 points against them, eventually winning 4-2. PSG won their own game 3-0. So it's going to be a very interesting fixture. I do think it's going to be a very interesting one. Barcelona against Young Boys. Barcelona unfortunately ended their winning streak, over the weekend against Osasuna. They lost 4-2 in that game. And they're also facing a Young Boys who also lost their game over the weekend. So it's going to be a game of, I don't want to say losers facing each other, but basically that's what it is. So, but I want to believe that Barcelona is going to win this one. Yamin Lamar didn't start in their last game. He came in as a substitute, but in this one, I want to believe he's going to start off. Seflik is going to know better than not to start him. They need him in that game. You want to make sure that your European competitions, you're doing better, and yes, looking to get to probably not just even the round of 16, but to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and the final. So definitely it wants to win that one. Bayer Leverkusen are going to be facing AC Milan. I think that's also going to be another interesting game because AC Milan won their game over the weekend 3-0. Bayer Leverkusen, on the other hand, played out a 1-1 draw against Bayern Munich. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens, between Bayer Leverkusen and AC Milan, but it's going to be quite interesting. And then Borussia Dortmund is hosting Celtic. Borussia Dortmund won their last game 4-2. I think Celtic also won their game. So it's going to be quite interesting fixtures. I think another one is Inter playing Sevilla Zazda. Inter won their game just by the scruff of the neck. It was a 3-2 win, but then again, it's Inter. They're playing at home, I want to believe that they are obviously going to win that one. Their opponents this time around didn't win their last game in the Champions League, so it should be an easy win for them. And then Manchester City are going, to play against Slovan Bratislava. And yes, Bratislava lost their last game in this competition. Man City, on the other hand, are going to I don't know. I don't know what to expect with Man City right now because yes, some of their big players are not available, but they are not doing badly because yes, their last game against Newcastle they drew the match, but that's Newcastle in the Premier League, so the Champions League is a totally different ball game for them. So I want to expect that they would win that one. And on Wednesday, of course, some of the interesting ones are Atalanta, they are Europa League champions. They've not been doing so well, yes, in the league, but I want to believe there is going to be. I want to believe there is going to be a different, you know, thing entirely when they face off Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk have been quite interesting. They won their last game, so I don't know how Atalanta is going to do, but they have to turn up. Aston Villa this time around is going to be facing off Bayern Munich, and I think it's going to be quite interesting because Aston Villa just came back to the Champions League, I think, after 41 years. And yes, their last game they won it. I think they won it 3-0. This time around, they're beating Bayern Munich, that is playing so well, so well. Like Bayern Leverkusen struggled to, you know, beat them, and yes, the match ended 1-1, but they've been playing so well, beating teams out of the park. So I am quite interested to see how this one plays out, but I think it's going to be a very interesting fixture. Benfica against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid played 1-1 draw against Real Madrid in the Madrid derby over the weekend. Benfica, on the other hand, lost their match. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these two teams also play out. Monaco also are traveling away to face Dynamo's Zagreb. Monaco won their game over the weekend, so you never can tell what is going to also happen in that one. Real Madrid, who also played a draw against Atletico Madrid, are hosting Lille. Lille, I think over the weekend, I think they draw their game. But they won their game actually. They won their game 3-0. But Real Madrid are champions. They are 16-time champions of the Champions League. So you never really can tell what they will turn up with. But yeah, Lille has that advantage going into game as to they winning their game over the weekend. So maybe that will be some sort of encouragement, for them not to lose the game. But you never can tell. And then Liverpool, who are playing Bologna, they are hosting Bologna in Anfield, is going to be also another interesting game. RB Leipzig also won their game. Juventus won their game over the weekend. So that's another fixture that I think is going to be quite interesting. But those are the games for the Champions League for today and tomorrow, match day 2. Those are some of the exciting fixtures that I think you can look out for. But for me, I think one of the big one would be Arsenal against PSG. And I think Aston Villa and Bayern Munich. I want to see how well they are going to do, and I'm talking of Aston Villa this time around. I want to see how well they are going to, if they'll be able to keep up, the winning form in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. But I don't think so. And another big one will be Bayern Leverkusen against AC Milan. Now you can look out for those games and let me just tell me in the comment section what you think the results will be, who you think is going to win, if Arsenal is going to beat PSG, Bayern Munich, flogging Aston Villa out of the park, or AC Milan defeating Bayern Leverkusen. Now, let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and also don't forget to put on your post notification button to get our latest video when they drop. It's your girl again, Fentola Babade, and when I return with the results when the games are played, don't go anywhere. It's bye for now.